What she really wants when she's silent, sex. Power in the female mind. You sit there staring at her silence. It's deafening, isn't it? Her lips are sealed, her eyes distant, and you feel the weight of it pressing into your chest. You think she's hiding something. You think she's testing you. You think you're failing. And in that moment, you're right to feel lost, but you're wrong to think her silence is about you. Let me rip the veil off your confusion. Let me drag you into the truth raw and unyielding, because you're drowning in a sea of half-lies and modern delusions. You want to know what she really wants when she's silent. Then listen, man, and don't flinch. This is about sex power in the female mind. This is about you becoming something more than a beggar for her approval. Here's the first truth. Her silence is not a puzzle for you to solve. It's a mirror. It reflects your own chaos, your own weakness, your own desperate need to be seen. Carl Jung, that old sage of the soul, said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Her silence irritates you, doesn't it? It gnaws at you, makes you question your worth. Why? Because you've tied your soul to her validation. You've made her the judge of your manhood. And when she's silent, you're left naked, exposed, scrambling for meaning. She doesn't need to speak for you to feel judged. You're judging yourself. Let me be clear. She's not silent because she hates you. She's not silent because you failed some secret test. She's silent because her mind is a labyrinth and you're standing at the entrance too afraid to step inside. Jung called the female psyche the anima, the hidden chaotic primal force within every man and woman. It's not logical. It's not linear. It's a storm of instinct, desire, and shadow. When she's silent, she's not plotting against you. She's wrestling with that storm. She's feeling the pull of her own depths, and you standing there waiting for words are irrelevant to her battle. You want to know what she wants. She wants a man who isn't afraid of that storm. She wants a man who doesn't cower when the winds of her silence howl. She wants a man who knows his own depths so well that her chaos doesn't shake him. But you're shaking. You're begging her to explain herself to make it easy for you. You're asking her to be your mother, your guide, your savior. And that, my friend, is why you're lost. Here's the second truth. Her silence is a call to power, and you're failing to answer it. Nietzsche, that prophet of the will, wrote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Her silence is your crucible. It's the fire that could forge you into something unbreakable or burn you to ash. You think she wants you to fix her. You think she wants you to fill the silence with your clever words, your apologies, your promises. Wrong. She wants you to stand in the fire of her silence and not flinch. She wants you to claim your power not as a tyrant, but as a man who knows his own worth. Power. Let's talk about that. Not the power of money or muscles or loud bravado. Real power. The kind that comes from mastering your own mind, your own desires, your own fears. Nietzsche said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. The tribe today tells you to be soft, to be safe, to be agreeable. It tells you to chase her approval, to decode her every mood, to bend yourself into whatever shape she demands. But when she's silent, she's testing you not with words, but with her very being. Can you stand tall without her applause? Can you walk your path without her hand to hold? Can you be a man when the world screams for you to be a boy? She doesn't want a boy. She doesn't want a pleaser. She doesn't want a man who collapses under the weight of her silence. She wants a man who can meet her power with his own. Not to dominate her, but to dance with her. Sex, you see, is not just bodies. It's a clash of energies, a meeting of forces. Her silence is her energy withdrawing, pulling back, waiting to see if you have the strength to match her. And you're chasing her, pleading, trying to fill the void with noise. Stop. Stand still. Feel the weight of her silence and let it forge you. Here's the third truth. Her silence is not about love, it's about truth. Kierkegaard, that tormented knight of faith, wrote, "The truth is a snare, you cannot have it without being caught." Her silence is your snare. It catches you in your illusions, your fantasies, your need to be the hero of her story. You think she's silent because she doesn't love you. You think she's silent because you're not enough. Wrong. Her silence is her truth, and it's not about you. It's about her. It's about the weight of her own existence, her own desires, her own fears. She's not thinking about you in those moments. She's thinking about herself. And that's the truth you can't handle. You want to know what she really wants. She wants a man who can face that truth without breaking. She wants a man who doesn't need her to be his mirror, his muse, his meaning. She wants a man who knows that love is not possession, not validation, not a fairy tale. Love is two souls standing side by side, each carrying their own weight, each facing their own abyss. Her silence is her abyss. And you're trying to fill it with your neediness, your questions, your desperation. Stop. Let her have her silence. Let her have her truth. And find your own. Let me be clear, you're not ready for this. Not yet. You're still clinging to the lie that she's the answer to your emptiness. You're still hoping her silence will break, that she'll turn to you and say, "You're enough." She won't. And even if she did, it wouldn't matter. Because until you know you're enough, until you faced your own silence, your own abyss, her words will never fill you. Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." You're dreaming, man. You're dreaming of her saving you. Wake up. Here's the fourth truth. Her silence is your death or your rebirth. Schopenhauer, that grim philosopher of the will, said, "Life is a business that does not cover the costs." You're paying the cost right now, aren't you? Every moment you spend chasing her approval. Every moment you spend trying to crack the code of her silence. You're dying inside. You're losing yourself. You're becoming less of a man, more of a shadow. But her silence can be your rebirth. It can be the moment you stop running and start standing. It can be the moment you claim your own will, your own purpose, your own life. She doesn't want a shadow. She doesn't want a man who lives for her glances, her words, her touch. She wants a man who lives for himself, who burns with his own fire, who walks his own path. Her silence is your chance to become that man. But it's not easy. It's not comfortable. It's a war against your fears, your doubts, your need to be loved. Nietzsche said, "You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes?" Her silence is your flame. Let it burn you. Let it destroy the weak parts of you, the parts that beg, that cling, that crumble. You want to know what she really wants when she's silent? She wants a man who has been through that fire, a man who has faced his own ashes and risen stronger, a man who doesn't need her silence to mean anything because he knows his own meaning, a man who can stand in the chaos of her mind and not lose himself. That's what she wants. And deep down, that's what you want too. You want to be that man. You want to be free. So here's your challenge, man. Here's the transformation I'm demanding of you. Stop chasing her. Stop trying to fill her silence with your noise. Stop begging for her to make you whole. Stand up. Face her silence like a warrior faces a storm. Let it rage, let it howl, and let it teach you who you are. Walk into your own silence, your own abyss, your own fire. Find your truth, not hers. Find your power, not hers. Find your life, not hers. You have two choices. You can walk alone with your purpose, your strength, your will. Or you can die slowly inside chasing a woman's silence, chasing a dream that will never come true. Choose now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're ready. Now. Because every moment you wait, you're choosing death. Every moment you chase her, you're choosing weakness. Every moment you fear her silence, you're choosing to be less than a man. Walk alone. Burn in your own flame. Rise from your own ashes. And when you do, you'll see her silence for what it really is. Not a test, not a trap, not a judgment. It's just her and you. You'll be a man who doesn't need her to be anything other than what she is. You'll be a man who knows his own worth, his own power, his own truth. You'll be a man she can't help but respect, not because you chased her, but because you stopped. Choose. Now. Walk alone or die slowly. There's no middle ground. There's no compromise. There's only the fire, the ashes, and the man you could become. Go. You sit there staring at her silence. It's deafening, isn't it? That void where words should be, where you expect her to lay bare her soul to give you the map to her desires. You're waiting for her to tell you what she wants. Sex, love, power, submission, dominance, something, anything. But she doesn't. She sits there, eyes like a storm, held back, lips sealed, and you're drowning in the uncertainty. You think her silence is a puzzle you can solve, a lock you can pick with the right words, the right touch. You're wrong. Her silence is a mirror, and it's showing you your own weakness, your own desperation for answers you haven't earned the strength to face. Here's the first truth. Her silence isn't about you. It's about her. It's about the depths of her mind. A place you haven't dared to venture because you're too busy projecting your own fears onto her stillness. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Her silence irritates you, doesn't it? It gnaws at your pride, makes you question your power, your manhood. You want to break it to force her to speak, to reveal. But that irritation isn't her doing, it's yours. It's the shadow of your own unmastered self screaming for you to confront it. Let me be clear, she doesn't owe you her words. She doesn't owe you her truth. When she's silent, she's not withholding to punish you. She's not playing a game to make you chase harder. She's guarding something sacred, something you haven't proven yourself worthy of touching. Jung called it the anima, the feminine soul within every man, the untamed, chaotic force that both creates and destroys. Her silence is the anima manifest, a force of nature that demands you rise to meet it, not cower and beg for its mercy. You think you want her body, her love, her submission, you're lying to yourself. What you really want is to conquer the chaos she represents, to prove you're man enough to stand in its fire without burning. Here's the second truth. Her silence is a test, but not the kind you think. It's not a test of your charm, your wit, or your ability to read her mind. It's a test of your sovereignty. Nietzsche wrote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Her silence is your crucible, man. It's the weight that will either forge you into something greater or crush you into dust. When she's silent, she's asking without words whether you can stand alone in your own truth, whether you can face the void of her mystery without losing yourself. Most men fail this test. They grovel, they plead, they try to fill the silence with noise, empty promises, desperate confessions, weak attempts at seduction. They think they're winning her over, but they're only proving they're unworthy of her depths. She doesn't want your noise. She doesn't want your frantic attempts to fix what you perceive as broken. When she's silent, she's watching you. She's measuring the weight of your soul. Are you a man who can hold his ground, who can face the unknown without flinching? Or are you a boy scrambling for approval? terrified of being found wanting. Jung warned of the danger of living unconsciously, of letting the shadow rule you. Her silence is your shadow made flesh. It's the part of you that doubts, that fears, that clings to the illusion of control. You can't control her silence. You can't control her desires. And that terrifies you, doesn't it? Good. Fear is the beginning of wisdom. Let me be clear. Her silence is not a rejection. It's an invitation. Not to conquer her, but to conquer yourself. When she's silent, she's offering you a chance to step into your power, to become the man who doesn't need her to speak to know his worth. Nietzsche said, "You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes?" Her silence is your flame. It's burning away the weak parts of you, the neediness, the insecurity, the childish belief that she owes you clarity. You want to know what she really wants. She wants a man who's been through that fire, who's emerged not as a beggar for her approval, but as a king in his own right. Here's the third truth. Her silence is power. Not the power you're used to, the loud, aggressive, masculine kind that demands and dominates. This is feminine power, subtle, deep, and infinitely more dangerous. Schopenhauer wrote, "The woman is by nature meant to obey." But don't mistake her silence for obedience. It's defiance. It's her refusal to reduce herself to your expectations, to fit into the box you've built for her in your mind. When she's silent, she's wielding a power. You can't touch a power that comes from knowing her own depths, her own desires, even if she never speaks them. And that power terrifies you because it exposes your own lack of it. You've been taught to see women as puzzles to solve, as prizes to win. You've been fed lies about cracking the code of female desire, as if her silence is a game you can master with the right strategy. But her silence isn't a game. It's a force of nature, like the ocean or the night sky, beautiful, vast, and utterly indifferent to your plans. Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Her silence is the catalyst for your transformation, but only if you're brave enough to face it. Most men aren't. They run from it, chasing louder women, easier women who fill the silence with words they think they want to hear. But you're not. Most men, are you? Or are you? Let me be clear. She doesn't want you to fix her silence. She doesn't want you to fill it with your own projections of what you think she needs. When she's silent, she's not broken. She's whole, complete, and waiting for you to catch up. Her silence is her truth. And it's more honest than any words she could speak. Words can lie. Silence can't. It's raw, unfiltered, and it demands you meet it with the same rawness. Nietzsche warned, beware, that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. Her silence is your monster, and if you fight it with weakness, with desperation, you'll become the very thing you fear, a man unworthy of her respect, her desire, her fire. Here's the fourth truth. Her silence reveals her desires, but not in the way you expect. You think she's silent because she's hiding what she wants. Sex, power, love, control. You're wrong. Her silence is her desire. It's her refusal to cheapen herself with words that can't capture the depth of what she feels. Jung spoke of the anima as the bridge to the unconscious, the gateway to the divine. When she's silent, she's standing at that gateway, and she's daring you to cross it. Not with your body, not with your words, but with your soul. She wants a man who can meet her there in the place where words fail, where power isn't shouted, but felt, where sex isn't just bodies, but a collision of spirits. You want to know what she really wants when she's silent? She wants you to stop asking. She wants you to stop chasing her truth and start living your own. She wants a man who doesn't need her to speak to know his path, who doesn't need her approval to feel his worth. She wants a man who's faced his own shadow, who's burned in his own flame. who's strong enough to stand in her silence and not flinch. That's what she wants. And you're nowhere near that man yet, are you? Don't lie to yourself. You feel it, the gap between who you are and who you could be. Her silence is exposing that gap, and it's tearing you apart. Let me be clear. Her silence is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's showing you everything you lack, everything you've avoided, everything you've buried under layers of excuses and distractions. You think modern dating is confusing, don't you? You think women are impossible to understand, that they've changed, that the rules have shifted. You're wrong. Women haven't changed. You have. You've let yourself become weak, uncertain, ruled by fear instead of purpose. Her silence is your wake-up call, man. It's the universe telling you to stop drifting and start forging. Nietzsche said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Her silence is your struggle, your chance to break free from the tribe of weak men who beg for answers instead of creating them. Here's the fifth truth. Her silence is eternal. You'll never fully crack it, never fully know what lies behind it. And that's the point. Schopenhauer said, the world is my representation. Her silence is your representation of the mystery of existence itself, unknowable, untamable, and yet the source of all meaning. You can't conquer her silence, but you can learn to live with it, to find strength in its presence. When she's silent, she's not just a woman. She's the embodiment of the eternal feminine, the force that drives men to create, to destroy, to become more than they are. Her silence is your call to greatness, but only if you're man enough to hear it. You're lost in modern dating because you're looking for answers outside yourself. You're scouring apps, forums, videos, trying to decode what women want, trying to find the magic formula that will make her speak, make her yours. But there is no formula. There is only you and the work you haven't done. Her silence is your mirror, your crucible, your teacher, your monster. It's everything you need to become the man you're meant to be, but only if you stop running from it. Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Her silence is your heart, man. Look into it. Awake. Let me be clear. This is your moment. Right now, as you listen to these words, as you feel the weight of her silence in your memory, you're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to weakness, to a life of chasing, pleading, and dying slowly inside as you beg for scraps of her truth. The other path leads to strength, to a life of walking alone, of forging your own truth, of becoming a man who doesn't need her words to know his worth. This is your transformation challenge, and it's not optional. You either walk alone, face the fire of her silence, burn away your weakness, and rise as a king, or you die slowly inside a shadow of the man you could have been. Choose now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when you think you've figured her out. Now, walk alone or die slowly. There's no middle ground. Her silence demands nothing less.